Hello students, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to explain television poem second stanza. It rots the sense in the head. So if you keep on watching the television for a long period of time, then your sense would be irritated and you may not use the sense and it will be rotten. Okay, so that is what going to happen if you see the or if you watch the television. Okay, so it kills imagination dead. You cannot use your imagination also. The imaginative capacity will also be lost if you watch the television for a long period of time, for hours and hours. It clogs and clutters up the mind. Okay, so it can also cannot allow your mind to think. Okay, you will not have the capacity to think on your own. Your mind will lose the capacity of thinking. It makes the child so dull and blind. Okay, so that person who is watching the television can be dull all the time. Okay, he behaves like as if he lost everything and he will be alone all the time and blind. So as he is watching the television for continuous period of time, he lose the sight of the eye. He may not concentrate on anything, whether it is studies, or he cannot concentrate with the eyesight because the sight cannot allow him to see the particular text. Okay, so he will lose the capacity of the sight of his eyes. He can no longer understand a fantasy. Okay, so he doesn't understand what is the importance of being happy. Okay, so he doesn't understand the importance of happiness in the fairy tales and the fictional stories. He will not get interest upon anything. He always wants to see the television. Okay, so he always wants to watch the television for a long period of time. He will not be bored. That is the only duty. He got habituated and he will be continuously watching the television for hours and hours. A fantasy, a fairy land. Okay, so if you are a child, you will get lots of interest like Barbies and other cartoons which may give you lots of importance. Okay, so there you can see the fairy lands. Okay, so which has lots of happiness, which contains lots of happiness. You will see the kings and queens and how they live and their kingdoms. Okay, castles and everything. You're gonna see that and you can see and you will feel happy. Okay, your imagination capacity will be increased if you watch the television. If you your imaginative capacity can be reduced if you watch the television for continuous period of time. His brain becomes as soft as cheese, and the brain should be hard, no, so not like too soft. Okay, so it will become like a cheese. Okay, so how the texture of the cheese will be very soft, no? So in the same way, the brain of the person who is watching the television, okay, that can also be transformed as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. Okay, so if you are not using any instrument like knife or sickle, hay forks or anything, if you are not using them, you kept them aside and not using from a long period of time, what is going to happen? It will be rusted. That means you are going to have this kind of rust all over that instrument and it cannot be used so well. It may lose the sharpness. In the same way, and also freeze, and you will lose the importance of that particular one. If you are not using your brain, your mind cannot think sharply. Okay, so you may not have that sharp thinking capacity. You can't use your brain properly. Okay, and afterwards he cannot think, he only sees. He will simply watch the television. That is the only duty he can do. He cannot do any other things. He will simply watch the television. That is the only thing. He can't do any other activities.